I've been really lucky over the years to travel worldwide and see landscapes from the polar regions, from certainly subtropics and desert regions and so on. And I feel I've learned a huge amount from all of them. But uh, I think that surely all of us probably identify with place to an extent based on our experience of childhood and, and time spent longer anywhere else. And in my case, that would be here. I still enjoy the balance of traveling, but the passion that I have for the local area actually continues to grow as I get to know it better. The exploration process inevitably did revolve around the hill because it's the nearest feature to the village. And what I realized was that although Rosebery itself is a kind of object of beauty on the horizon, it's not actually the topping that makes it interesting, but the landscape, of which it is simply a part. For the first 10 or 15 years of living up here, I was quite strategic, and I would be thinking at a certain time of year the sun will be coming from this angle, it'll be rising, and perhaps avoiding the hills around it are relatively high. There are certain gaps in the hills, for example, when the sun arrives earlier at a certain day in the year or a period of days in the year. Other times it's to do with the specific weather that actually governs whether I go out or don't. The light is very variable through the course of a year. So in the case of Rosebery, you can see that during the summer months, the sun rises in the northeast and it sets in the northwest. And the solar path through today is relatively high, except at sunrise and sunset. So it's quite flattening, generally not very helpful on the whole, if the sun is out, to be shooting in the middle periods of the day, whereas in the winter, for example, the sun is rising in the southeast, setting in the southwest. And those differences make a huge change to the appearance of the landscape through that time. And those changes are then enhanced by huge vegetation changes. One of the great things about having a place that you love locally is that you become more intimate with it. It enables you to drive your curiosity, experiment more, and to become more aware of the subtleties of the process. And actually, this has a two-way effect. One is you perhaps use that local knowledge to develop your own creativity. For me, that I feel is very, very important. But you can then transfer those skills and that understanding to your travels as well. So although I certainly think there is a tendency, if you go to well, let's say a world-class spectacular destination like the Grand Canyon or the Torres del Paine, inevitably you probably take a few predictable photographs. But I'd like to think that as you grow in experience and understanding as an artist, then you are also more likely to be sensitive to the more complex and subtle processes that can be found indeed in any great landscape. I mean, I have a picture here from Yosemite, which is hardly the epitome of Yosemite. I found that being able to be in such a place when the weather was really dark and moody was actually really inspiring. That is the famous tunnel view, which was immortalized by Ansel Adams as Clearing Winter Storm. I think one of the biggest challenges for landscape photographers is to learn to, this is going to sound strange, to listen to the subject, which is by way of saying that rather than arriving at a place, certainly for the first time, and either bringing a lot of preconceptions of what it should be or wishing to impose a kind of prescribed formula, it is simply to be in a receptive state of mind and actually accept what's in front of you and to observe and really, really notice what's happening, so that your photography is actually an authentic relationship between you and the subject matter. I think that is what connection really means in photography. There's a wonderful Ansel Adams quote, and I may not get it exactly right, but he said that some photographers come to their subject and impose the domination of their own thought and spirit. Others come more tenderly, and to them, the photograph is an instrument of love and revelation.